Hello everybody and welcome to the 2022 2Y Downhill Battle presented by Racing Power 19 Enterprises 2022. Now, this isn't the official race yet because usually you would see cup cars going up against each other down the straightaway and see who will be the winner. But that's not the case today because today we're going to be doing a quick exhibition test race that you would say against 6 Truck Series drivers that will be going up against each other today, because mainly we want to show you fans about how this is going to work, since this is a brand new series that will be on this channel. So mainly we want to do this race because we want you fans to understand about how this series is going to work and how this format is going to play out. So here are the 6 drivers that will be going up against each other for today's event. Sheldon Creed in the 2, Johnny Sauter in the 13, Austin Hill in the 16, Dawson Cram in the 41, Carson Hocevar in the 42, and Matt Crafton in the 88. As these 6 drivers are going up against each other and try to see who will be the king of this event. Although an exhibition race, but we do have a big crowd on hand here today. It's a sold-out crowd, and it looks like a lot of these guys are very excited to see this play out. And because I know for sure this is really going to be an interesting battle between a lot of these guys. Now, before we actually begin, we're going to showcase you the setup of how we're going to determine these races. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, and now as you can see here, we have a spinny wheel right here that includes all 6 truck drivers. And we will roll the wheel twice for each round, and it will determine the 2 drivers that will be racing in that round. First up on the list, let's spin the wheel. One of the drivers that will be going up in this round will be Carson Hocevar in the number 42 truck. And then going up against him will be Sheldon Creed in the number 2. So Carson Hocevar and Sheldon Creed will be the first 2 drivers to go up in this event. So as you saw right there, Sheldon Creed and Carson Hocevar are the first 2 drivers to be going up against each other, and this is for the semifinals. Whoever wins best 2 out of 3 will move on to the semifinals. And it's going to be one of these 2 drivers, Sheldon Creed or Carson Hocevar. All we have to do is find out. As we drop the green flag, race 1 is underway. Oh, Creed gets put into the wall, as well as Carson Hocevar. He spins out, but he crosses the line first, backwards. So Carson Hocevar has the early lead, as it's 1-0 between him and Creed. Now take a look at this. Sheldon Creed actually bounces right here. Wow, big time. That was a whale of a ride for Sheldon Creed right there, that number 2. So Carson Hocevar has the early lead with 1 point under his belt, but remember, it's best 2 out of 3, so that means Sheldon Creed could get back at him and steal the lead away from Carson Hocevar and potentially win this thing, and that can lead Carson Hocevar of getting eliminated. Here we go, second race is now underway. They're both side by side. They touch to the line as a photo finish, and it looks like Sheldon Creed is ended up going to nudge out Carson Hocevar by just a little. Wow, unbelievable finish between these 2. Look at this, Hocevar had the run, but for some reason Sheldon Creed comes out of nowhere and just steals it away from Carson. Now that is what I call a recovery, for sure. It is now a dead heat battle between these 2 drivers. Both Creed and Hocevar, 1 point each, and now it's down to the next race in race number 3 of round 1. And here they go, down they go. Creed gets put into the wall, he bounces right back to Hocevar. They both kept it straight, but it looks like Hocevar is going to keep that lead, as he's now 2 points. And Creed looks like he's stuck on the start-finish line, but he still crosses the line, but doesn't get that victory. From here on out, things are really going to get juicy, as Carson Hocevar needs to have 1 more win under his basket in order to move on to the next round. But Sheldon Creed still has a chance, If he ends up winning this race, we're going to be moving on to a winner-take-all race in the inaugural Race 5. Will Sheldon Creed end up pulling it off, or will Carson Hocevar continue his dominant performance and move on into the next round? This is where our question will be answered. They're both side by side. He slams the door on Carson! And now we're going to be going to an inaugural Race 5 in a winner-take-all race as they're now tied in 2-2. Wow, look at this. Hocevar had the run, but then Creed just slammed the door on him because he was sideways, and he ended up slamming into Hocevar, and that gave him the point and the advantage, and now we're going to have an inaugural Race 5 in a winner-take-all race. Wow, on the first round and the first ever event, we get an inaugural winner-take-all race. So this is it. It's between Creed and Hocevar. Whoever gets this one will move on to the semifinals. It's money time now. Let's see who will make it across the line. Creed gets knocked down the line, and Hocevar will end up winning and move on into the semifinals. And Sheldon Creed, unfortunately, will be eliminated first. Ain't that a great sound to hear? Fans cheering for that. Carson Hocevar will move on to the semifinals. Now we only have 4 drivers left to see who are making into the semifinals. Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, Dawson Cram, and Matt Crafton. Let's go ahead and start the next bunch of drivers. So the first one will be the 88 of Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton will be going up next, and he'll be going up against it was a split decision, but it looks like Johnny Sauter is going to be the next driver up that will be going up against Matt Crafton. So for round 2 is going to be 2 ThorSport drivers. Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter will be going up against each other for round number 2. Round 2 gets underway. They're side by side with each other, and it's going to be a drag race, but Matt Crafton, it looks like, is going to get the nod over Johnny Sauter. What a close battle between these 2 drivers, and it looks like Matt Crafton is going to get it by looks like 2 hair lengths. Man, what an incredible finish. Just look at this. Wow! Johnny Sauter even had the run. It looked like he was going to get it, but he did not have enough time. So look, and now Matt Crafton now has the early lead with 1-0. It's really getting juicy now between the 2 ThorSport drivers. Now Matt Crafton still hangs on to the early lead, but Johnny Sauter can still recover from this. Race number 2 is now underway. Johnny Sauter hard into the outside wall, and that's going to give Matt Crafton an opportunity to steal another one and get another win under his belt, with possibly coming into the last race. Johnny Sauter really needs to fight hard in order for him to move on to the next round. He needs to win 3 more times, while Matt Crafton only needs to have 1 more win under his belt. Might be a challenge for Johnny Sauter, but he could still have a chance. Down they go, and the stretch is really going to be dicey. They're side by side with each other. Oh, and Sauter puts Matt Crafton into the inside wall. And if you think that they're still teammates in this one, obviously they are not. As Johnny Sauter puts Matt Crafton into the inside wall and steals one away, as it's now 2-1 here with only 1 race to go. After that intense round, things is really starting to get juicy as Matt Crafton continues to lead with 2. But Johnny Sauter looks like he's on his way to a recovery effort. He needs to win 2 more races in order to beat his teammate, Matt Crafton. Even though Matt Crafton is having a dominant run, he still needs to win 2 more races in order for Johnny Sauter to move on into the semifinals. This is the moment of truth right here. Down the stretch they go. Sauter heavy into the outside wall, and Crafton as well. But Matt Crafton is going to move on into the next round as Johnny Sauter will unfortunately be eliminated from this event. Boy, that round was something else. But now it's time to move on into the third round as Matt Crafton moves on. Now, I don't think we need to roll the wheel for this one because we already have two drivers that are left on the wheel, and these guys are going to go up against each other here in this next round. Cram in the 41 and Austin Hill in the 16. This is for the final spot in the semifinals, and it can only go to one of these two. Here we go. Round 3 is now underway. Oh, Cram is a little bit out of shape. He spins out, and that would mean Austin Hill will come across the line with no issues, and Cram does make it across the line backwards, but does not get that point that he's been looking for. Now take a look at this sloppy start by Cram. Wow! He was up on two wheels, almost went over. As you saw, he was on its side for a brief second. He does hit the outside wall, and he spins out, and Austin Hill comes across the line with the early lead. Remember, guys, this is the last spot in the semifinals, and it can only go to one of these two. And right now, it looks like Austin Hill is on its way to get that spot, but Cram can still recover and take that lead away from Austin Hill if he wins 3 more races before Austin Hill does. And there they go, down the stretch again. Side by side with each other, and Hill puts Cram into the inside wall. And he's going to keep that lead with 2-0, heading into possibly the final race of this round. Is this where the day ends for Cram in the 41? Is it judgment day for him? Austin Hill has to win at least one more race in order for him to move on into the semifinal rounds. But Cram still can have a shot at this. That does not mean that he cannot win this race. Does Cram still have a shot? Will he be able to get past Austin Hill? Maybe no! Hill still makes it across the line first, even though he was sideways. They both got together, and Hill will move on to the next round after a blowout race between him and Cram. Boy, you might want to watch out for Austin Hill, because after that strong run, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a factor coming into these final few sets of rounds. So here are the 3 drivers that made it into the semi-final rounds. Hocevar in the 42, Matt Crafton in the 88, and Austin Hill at number 16. Well, I think Austin Hill is probably going to win this thing after that strong run that he had against him and Cram between 3-0, a blowout race. I think Austin Hill is going to be one of those guys to look out for. But we're going to be spinning the wheel now and seeing which two of these drivers are going to be picked to go against each other. Okay, so for the semi-rounds, we have to figure out a new plan. Because as you can see here, we have 3 drivers here. Austin Hill, Hocevar, and Matt Crafton. Usually in the semifinals, you would see 4 drivers, but we have 3. So how this is going to work is that we're going to roll this wheel 2 more times, and whoever those 2 drivers are, will race each other against a normal round off this bridge. And whoever the winner is, will go up against the driver that was not picked in the wheel, and that will determine the championship round. So hopefully, I just wanted to get it out of the way to see how and to let fans understand of what we're going to do here. So now that we figured that out, we're gonna roll the wheel. So the first driver up will be the 42 of Hocevar. Going against Hocevar will be the dominating Austin Hill in the 16. So this is going to be an interesting battle between those two. And that means that Matt Crafton will be going up against one of these drivers to determine who will move on to the championship round. Now this is where game time officially begins, as Austin Hill and Hocevar will be going up first, and one of these guys will take the first spot into the championship round. Will it be Austin Hill or will it be Hocevar? Whoever wins 3 races in this one will be going into the championship round. As the semifinals are now underway, They're side by side with each other. Oh! And Hocevar and Hill bounces off each other. And no surprise, Austin Hill is going to have the early lead with 1-0 between him and Carson Hocevar. So really not a bit surprised seeing Austin Hill having the early lead. But don't count out Carson Hocevar just yet, as he still has a lot of time to gain momentum, and he could beat out Austin Hill. Don't count him out just yet. So let's see what Hocevar can do in the second race. Net to net, door to door. Hill gets turned. Oh! And I cannot tell from that angle, but I believe Carson Hocevar might have gone in that. We're gonna take another look at that and see who actually ended up getting it, because that was way too close to call. So Hocevar bounces off of the outside wall. That's what got him into Austin Hill. He bounces off and he goes into the inside wall. Take a look at this. Wow! Hocevar hits the line first before Hill could do it backwards. The rear of Austin Hill's truck almost hit the start-finish line first. That was an unbelievable finish. That is definitely going to the history books for sure. Wow, what an unbelievable finish. What a way to kick things up a notch, as we are now tied with 1 point each. Remember, only one driver needs to have 3 wins under his belt to move on to the championship round, and only one of them can accomplish it. This is really going to be dicey as they go down the stretch again. Carson Hocevar moves him out of the way! And Carson Hocevar gets another point under his belt. As we're now going into race 4, and might be the last one, unless if Austin Hill can get that second point as well. Austin Hill really needs to shake and bake here if he really wants to go into that championship round. The score is only 2-1, so Austin Hill still has a shot. But if he loses, he will go up against Matt Crafton and have another shot of getting into that final round. Just remember that. So Carson Hocevar continues to lead, with Austin Hill coming up right behind him. And down they go again. Side by side on the one. Hill puts him into the wall! And he steals it away! And that means we are now going to be going to an inaugural Race 5 in an in-it-to-win-it race. Holy cow! Wow, aggressive driving by both of these drivers. And remember when Ryan Preece said, race with respect, don't let the guy on the outside of you if you're trying to win a race? Well, looks like they obviously didn't listen to his advice, especially Carson Hocevar, after what happened between him and Ryan Preece not that long ago in real life. This is the only race that matters. Both drivers are now tied by 2. Whoever wins this race will move on into the championship race, and the loser will go up against Matt Crafton in the 88 for that final championship spot. One winner, one loser. Down the stretch they go. Austin Hill with the lead. They're both into the wall, and Hocevar will move on into the championship round, and Austin Hill will be going up against Matt Crafton to see which one of these 2 drivers will be going up against Carson Hocevar in the championship round. Although Austin Hill did lose against Carson Hocevar in the semifinals, he does have one more shot as he goes up against Matt Crafton in the 88. And here they go down the stretch. This is really going to be dicey as they both side by side. They both do a crossover move as Matt Crafton nose first into the wall, but that does not change the fact that he does cross the line first and will get that first point with the early lead. Now look out for Austin Hill in the 16 as he's a bit fatter right now after his strong performance during his run against himself and Dawson Cram. He's really going to be one of those guys to look out for. So make sure you keep an eye on him as he's really going to try to take this lead away from Matt Crafton. And down they go the straightaway yet again. They're both into the wall, but no biggie. They're going to have no issue as they go across the line, as Matt Crafton looks pretty strong coming into this possible final race. Now, don't say that Austin Hill is washed out just yet. He still has a couple of chances to try to beat Matt Crafton and go against Carson Hocevar in the championship round. Which is funny, because him and Carson Hocevar recently just went together not that long ago. So it will be weird to see them fight again, but this time for the championship round. But remember, Matt Crafton still needs one more win under his belt in order for him to move on into the championship race, for him to go up against Carson Hocevar. Down they go again. Looks strong for Matt Crafton. Oh! But Austin Hill has other ideas as he says, nope, excuse me, fella. As now Austin Hill now has 1 point, with Matt Crafton still at 2. I think Austin Hill is really going to give Matt Crafton a run for his money here, as he's really going to try his best to try to make it into the championship round. He just needs to win at least 2 more times in order for Austin Hill to advance. This is really going to pay out here after side by side. Oh! Oh my goodness! Matt Crafton just puts Austin Hill into the wall. Oh, and you can see a little bit of flames coming from Austin Hill's truck, hoping that Austin's okay. Oh, that's just unbelievable to see, as you can see the AMR safety team already going up to Austin Hill's car right now in a blaze, hoping that Austin Hill is okay. He took a massive hit when Matt Crafton put him into the outside wall. That was a massive collision. Hoping that Austin Hill is okay, and there he is right now. He's climbing out of the race car. Listen to the roar of that crowd. That is unbelievable. Great to see Austin Hill walking out of that race car, because that was a massive hit. It looked like the fuel cell from that car exploded. We're going to take another look at it. As they both go down the straightaway. They both get sideways. They both get put into the wall. And, oh! Hill just gets squeezed up between the wall and Matt Crafton. And that's what caused that massive hit for Austin Hill in that 16. And that is where the fuel tanks explodes. Massive fire for Austin Hill. But luckily, Austin Hill walks out under his own power, but he will be eliminated from this event. And that means Carson Hocevar and Matt Crafton are going to be the 2 drivers racing for the championship. Now here is the round that these fans has came and stayed for. The championship round. And Carson Hocevar and Matt Crafton are the 2 drivers going up against each other for that crown to be placed on their heads. Which one will take that crown, and one of them will go home empty-handed. All we have to do is find out. And the championship round now gets underway. Hocevar is a little bit out of shape. He's under the wall, and that's going to give Matt Crafton a run and get himself his first point with 1-0 between him and Carson Hocevar. So Matt Crafton has the early lead right now with 1-0, but Carson Hocevar still has a chance to recover and steal that win away from Matt Crafton. But let's see how it's going to unfold coming into the second race. Matt Crafton looking very, very strong, but Carson Hocevar is trying to steal it. No, he will not steal it, as now Matt Crafton now has a 2-point lead over Carson Hocevar. It really doesn't look good outside of Carson Hocevar's window right now, as he really is in jeopardy of not getting that championship crown, because Matt Crafton now has 2 points under his belt, and he needs to have 1 more win in order for him to claim that crown. So let's see what Carson Hocevar can do to try to take that crown away from Matt Crafton. And down the ramp they go yet again. They're door to door, they're side by side, and Carson Hocevar, they both get into the wall, but Carson Hocevar steals one. And now Carson Hocevar now has 1 point, looking to try to see if he can overtake that lead and steal the crown away from Matt Crafton's hands. So now Hocevar now has 1 point under his belt, and now he needs to have 2 more wins in order to steal the lead and the potential win away from Matt Crafton here, as Matt Crafton still has 2 points and still needs 1 more. But Carson Hocevar, like I said before, can still recover and steal the win. It's really gonna get dicey here as they go down the ramp. It doesn't look good for Carson Hocevar as they get in a row and Crafton's gonna hold him off. And that means Matt Crafton will be the 2022 2Y Downhill Battle Exhibition Truck Race Champion. And Carson Hocevar will unfortunately come up just a little bit short of getting that crown. So Matt Crafton is the winner of today's event after a strong run that he had between him and Carson Hocevar after that championship battle. Man, what a battle that was between the two of them, that's for sure. But Matt Crafton continued to show his dominance, proved that he will never give up no matter what's ahead of him, and Matt Crafton ends up getting the crown and the trophy today here at the 2Y Downhill Battle. And before we sign off today, we're going to take a look at the results from today's event. Matt Crafton obviously is the winner after a strong, dominating performance that he had today. Carson Hocevar, unfortunately, coming up just a little bit short of getting that trophy and will come home second today. Austin Hill, after a frightening incident with his truck coming on fire, after a strong run that he had in the first set of rounds, he will come home in 3rd place. Cram, although he got himself beaten in a blowout race between him and Austin Hill, will come home in 4th. Johnny Sauter back there in 5th, and Sheldon Creed in the 6th place spot. Boy, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a bunch of enemies after this race, because I'm pretty sure all of these guys are no longer gonna be friends with each other after what you just saw there, because that was a very, very crazy event. And now I think it just shows you guys a preview of what's going to happen when the Cup cars come into place, and that's where things is really going to kick off, with 32 drivers, 16 rounds, and 1 champion. That is really going to be something to look forward to. I hope you guys are ready for that. And this is where we're going to be signing off for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this event. It was definitely a great one to watch. Congratulations to Matt Crafton in the 88 for winning today's event, and we will see you guys in the main Cup event. Until then, we will see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.